Thresh Band coming through to help alleviate some of that pressure in the bot lane, maybe not give them so much of a strong kill lane, and they respond with a Kindred who's going to be able to kind of handle that early game pressure in the hands of Ham.
I wonder if Iron Dragon will have like that early game jungler. Like I really think that taking away a Graves would be huge from them, but his Graves is being one of the few champions that don't play well into Kindred.
And there's the Cassiopeia band, that really strong contention champion we talked about, and they're going to go ahead and first pick the Caitlyn here. You know, Caitlyn have a pretty decent win percentage, 56%, with a ban percentage, pick ban percentage of 30%. You know, pretty strong champion here in the ALS.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Kate Morgana this game, since Morgana is also on the table.
And with that, we'll see what Iron Dragon's going to go ahead and pick up in this response to this Caitlyn. You know, maybe trying to handle it themselves, but no, they're going to go ahead and lock in Pyke.
Hey. Haven't seen the Pyke on Iron Dragon, on Iron Dragon in a while.
And with that, Pyke does have a 100% win percentage here in the ALS. You know, not picked or banned very often, but Pyke Jhin has the ability to be a very strong lane if played correctly.
I'm hovering on the Soraka and locking in the Soraka into a Pyke. Usually you don't see that kind of thing, but Soraka does have the ability to really shut down a Pyke. It's obviously like a really heavy skill matchup, and it's one that they have definitely taken before and can continue to take. But I still think it's very Soraka sided, because if all Soraka has to do is drop her E and all of a sudden Pyke becomes useless.
You know, I'd agree, and in those really strong team fights, if the Pyke's getting ready to start his ultimate chain through and go for a lot of kills, instantly Soraka can go ahead and drop her R, put a huge amount of healing out, and negate that entire combo from Pyke. And we see the lock-in of the Rengar for Kisses for Cats. Pretty strong jungler here, able to pick out that Pyke whenever he tries to go through stealth. He's going to be able to lock down that Jhin as well in the later game.
But with the Zac pick coming in, that might have been in response to the Rengar, because it's gonna be easy for Rengar to really abuse Zac in the early game, but then going forward later into the game after he's got 2 armor items, it's not gonna be as easy for Rengar to really get in there, especially between Pyke and Jhin, Jhin, who's a really mobile AD carry at that point, but Pyke, who's able to peel him off relatively well.
So we have the Karma ban coming out from Iron Dragon, maybe looking to prevent that from going top lane. We saw it yesterday with Glycerizing Phoenix. Joey Desu on that Karma played it extremely well. It's extremely hard to deal with in the top lane, especially for some of those bruiser and tank matchups. It's a little bit more difficult for him. And then we see Syndra ban in response, really strong control mage, able to do a lot of damage in these team fights.
And taking away Syndra and Karma, 2 big mages that we've seen performed very well throughout the split, really taken off of both sides.
We see now last ban coming in from Iron Dragon. I wonder what they're going to look to take away here. And it's going to be the Victor, another really strong mage in the mid lane. You know, they're definitely targeting this champ pool to kind of make sure that Tanamo doesn't have too much room to breathe when it comes to his availability of this champ.
Yeah, because Tanamo has definitely performed time and time again on those champions with the Cassio, the Victor, having wins on those champions. Definitely don't want to let them get through that. But in response, they do drop the Irelia, which is an interesting one, because I personally don't find Irelia to be as difficult as people seems, but it's like in the hands of whoever they're giving it to in the top lane this time around.
Aurelia definitely can be a strong champion in the right hands, but we do see the Vladimir lock-in for Iron Dragon in response to the Orianna lock-in. Tanamo on Orianna has able to, you know, I hesitate to say play extremely well, but at the same time, that champion is able to, you know, dominate the game if the correct shockwave goes off, and he's able to, you know, lock down these mid to late game team fights.
and especially if they're going to be happening in the jungle and not in the open areas of the lanes, then it actually spells a lot into the favor of Kisses for Cats there, because now that they've got the Orianna and the Malphite for ball transfer, as well as Rengar, who can also do ball transfer for them, it just lines them up for Caitlyn and Soraka to sit in the back and just do everything that needs to be done in terms of just cleaning up the fights. But it's also not to count out the comp of Iron Dragon, where they do have the very hard scaling Vladimir, who also wants to fight there in the jungle. But because of Soraka, it might very well be the case where Soraka can negate an extreme amount of Vladimir's damage with a very well timed wish.
So it looks like we finally have the team with the correct champions for the correct players. We have Sharon, Fang, and Sessica in the bot lane, on the Caitlyn, Soraka, Tanamo on Orianna in the mid lane, Ham with Rengar in the jungle, and Meowing Cat on Malphite in the top lane for Kisses for Cats. You know, pretty strong composition like you were talking about. The ball transfer able to really lock down those team fights at the same time. They can do a ball transfer from Tanamo to Ham with that strong jungle pick. What are you looking to see here in the early game?
In the early game,
from Kisses for Cats.
Pre-6, I don't think that Kisses for Cats does too much pre-6. Rengar, not too great early game, or not as impactful as he will be in the mid game. We'll probably look for a couple of those in lane ganks. Wouldn't be surprised to see it. I don't think invading against Zac is the move here, especially when probably going to be running double TP between Galio and Vladimir. But it's going to be a pretty nice calm early game is what I'm predicting here. Because especially because I think everybody starts coming online once they hit 6, especially when you have the combination of Ancient Mommy's Zac and Candy's Galio for those really hard engages, because you can really engage up with that combination. But
I have to
help that's a response to those engages.
Right. The Galio Zac is going to be able to come into these team fights from really strong angles and, lock down and provide a whole lot of area denial. Jhin and Pyke are going to be able to, or Jhin specifically was able to sit in the back line, get his damage off as needed. And he's going to be pretty well protected with the Zac and Galio in the front line as they're able to kind of create some space. However, I think Kisses for Cats, if they're able to get that flank with the Rengar or just go straight through their front line with the Malphite and the ball transfer from Tanamo, they'll be able to really get onto those damage carries and kind of lock down Lai Jialu and User Person, and as well as I'm Candy in these fights.
I think the game's going to come down to the coordination in their team fights between how they get into these fights. Although Iron Dragon does have the easier execution of these team fights, it's not to put it past the coordination of Kisses for Cats, because we've seen how Cats can really pull together and pull off some insane coordinated play. So we talked about the early game for Kisses for Cats. What are you looking for from the early game in Iron Dragon? Zac able to kind of get those ganks off a little bit earlier. A lot more aggressive in the bot lane from Haxel and Lai Jialu with the Pyke Jhin, able to CC chain correctly at level 1 and level 2. What are you looking to see from Iron Dragon? From Iron Dragon, I think a lot of the attention is going to be coming from the bot. Really, all of the attention is going to be around the bot lane, because it's not like if you're looking top lane, you're looking at Vladimir Malphite. You're not seeing a lot from that matchup. Mid lane, you've got Orianna, Galio, most likely, or not most likely. You have Orianna, Galio, and that's not going to go too crazy anyway, unless Tanamo oversteps too much, which allows Candy to really pressure and put into kill lane, kill thresholds. But in bot lane, that's where you have the most volatile matchups, because you've got Pyke who can really get back there. You've got the Pyke Jhin who can really play aggressive and chain CC lock either of the two members there, but it's hard to hit the Caitlyn with the net while the net is still up. So, and then when you factor in the jungle pressure, Rengar can really get in there and Zac can get in there, but Zac gets, like you said, Zac gets in there earlier. So it's really coming down to how well the bot lane plays through the early game, because I think whoever gets the early game lead down there in the bot lane will control the pace of the game. I agree very much so. With the
the bot lane being as strong as it is, you have Caitlyn Soraka versus Jhin Pike. That lane is extremely volatile, and whoever's able to pick up that little bit of early game tempo is going to definitely be able to control how that lane goes, and as well, almost entirely how the first couple of dragons goes as well.
Mm-hmm. And it's like when you're looking at both of these bot lanes, both of them can really run away with the game because like Soraka Caitlyn gets ahead, Soraka becomes unkillable. Soraka and Caitlyn become unkillable because Soraka is just putting out with too much healing. Then if you're looking at Pike Jhin, like anytime they get tagged with anything, Jhin and Pike are able to really chain CC and kill anything that walks in their path with the amount of damage that both of them bring to the table. So again, bot lane centric game.
Now let's get right into it. Pretty standard start from both teams. Go ahead and get that early vision line kind of, little cheeky poke there from Meowing Cat onto user person, just trying to mess them a little bit. Pretty standard vision line setup. Playing pretty safe. No early game aggression coming out. I'm glad it's safer, but at the same time, we always like to see a little bit early invade.
Yeah, early invades are fun to watch, but I'm all for the 5-point starts, making sure that no shenanigans go on early, because that's quickly how you throw games.
Looking now, it's going to be most likely a same side start for the junglers with Ham on his red buff and Ancient Mommy on his blue buff. You're going to be able to be pathing towards the same area, most likely looking for transition ganks either from the mid lane to go for a double scuttles, or they might even just meet up in the first scuttle on that top side.
And again, I'm pretty sure that Ancient Mommy might win that early 1v1, depending on how many stacks Ham is able to present to that fight at the Scuttle Crab. Again, nothing too crazy as far as the builds go, or the runes and masteries so far.
I think a big point of contention that we're going to see in this game is how well Sharon Fang is able to use that cleanse in these early game fights and these mid game fights, because it's going to be so impactful to make sure that Sharon Fang's not picked up in some of these early CC chains, and I'm glad to see that cleanse come out.
Level 2's coming out in the bot lane, nothing coming out of them to begin with.
We now see some interesting jungle pathing as Ham has went from his red buff, cleared his blue buff and Gromp, and now going back towards the wolves to then transition himself towards the bot side of the map.
Probably doesn't want to see Ancient Mummy here on the top side, on the top crab. Probably is going to give up that top crab to try and get something off down here in the bot lane. But the thing is that there is a ward there, on pretty much on the cusp of the raptor buff there.
Meowing Cat and user person trading back and forth in this top lane. A lot of really strong damage coming out from Meowing Cat onto user person, but at the same time he's going to be able to sit there and just soak it all back up, as Vladimir, as we both know, has so much healing in that top lane.
Yep, and until Meowing Cat has the proper mana to really keep him down, he's not going to be able to hold him down with damage.
And with how slow this is looking right now, here we go. Ham's making a little transition across the mid lane as he picked up that bottom lane scuttle, now going for the top lane scuttle. Pretty standard, but pretty safe start for both of these teams. They're just trying to make sure that they can get through the early game, no mishaps happening, and just able to proceed to the mid game safely. Trying to get those level 6 power spikes you were talking about.
Yep, and something worth noting is that Ham was able to get both crabs, so that he's going to be going back with a little bit more gold there, and a little bit more XP. So he's already level 4. And opting not to finish the jungle item rather than just going directly into the double longsword for 20 whole AD.
And I've seen that work pretty well for a lot of these Rengar players, as they will look to opt to not even work on that jungle item. They might pick up a colored smite, but then they won't even finish it off to the second or third item, as they're looking to just get a maximum amount of AD and lethality in their build. Just trying to do as much damage as possible in this early game, as we know that Rengar doesn't quite have that one-shot potential until that mid to late game.
Bot lane looking like something might come out.
Ham's definitely interested. And here he goes walking forward. Haxel a little bit too far forward, but Ham's going to be walking up towards him slowly, but Haxel's going to be able to just kind of walk right out of this one.
Yeah, that's the thing with the early game Rengar. He has no way to really get in early. Unless he's able to hit a really nice lane gank, which I think might have worked out better in hindsight, but he does turn his eyes towards this dragon.
And it does look like he's going to go ahead and start it up, as Tanamo has a pretty decent amount of lane priority, but we see that Ancient Mamish is going to go ahead and transition into counter jungling into Ham's top side.
Very early first dragon, just handed over. 2 kisses for cats, really abusing the early game pressure that they have to do what they just did. And because the kisses for cats bot lane was able to help, Ham didn't really lose too much on the XP side of things either.
Yeah, definitely. In that first dragon picked up for him is gonna kind of help, as that first Cloud Soul is going to be really impactful for them, as it gives a lot of movement speed and as well a little bit of ultimate cooldown reduction. I'm glad to see that first Drake picked up, and we need to see Ancient Mommy here try to see what else he can find around the map to try to get ready for it. But a flash forward by Haxel, and he's going to land the big ignite as well onto it. And here comes I'm Candy in the back line, picking up first blood over for Lai Xiaolu onto Sessica. But now Sharon Fang's running for his life. He has flash available, but probably not going to be able to use it to get away. And here comes I'm Candy going forward. Flash is going to go forward, but Haxel will connect, and that's going to be a kill in the bot lane. That is 2-4-0 for Iron Dragons.
And so the bot lane shenanigans begin. Tanamo not quite following I'm Candy to make sure that didn't happen. But it seems as though another fight's happening mid.
It looks like he has a little bit of caught out potential here, but here comes Hammond in the backline. He's going to instantly burst I'm Your Mommy, but Haxel's here to help kind of alleviate some of that pressure, and he's going to be taken back with a quick stun. And Tanamo picks up the kill under Ancient Your Mommy, and here comes Meowing Cat. The shockwave's coming in. 2 kills down, double kill over Tanamo, and that is going to be 3 kills over for Kisses for Cats.
And see, that is exactly what we were talking about before with the combination of the Malphite and the Orianna. Able to come in and make sure that they coordinate that fight properly so that Tam did not die, and it gave more than enough time for Meowing Cat and Tanamo to pull that combination off. And Sessica was there, coming back from base, with just enough time to drop a silence. I don't think it was completely necessary, but it was helpful nonetheless.
Yeah, silence might have been just a little bit there to help him out, as we see that user person is going to be able to try to pick up a plate here in the top lane in response from Meowing Cat, making that roam. And it's definitely a good play by him, but Meowing Cat was able to do so much there in that fight, and was, you know, Meowing Cat and Tanamo definitely won that fight for their team.
But now Meowing Cat has a bit of mana and some mana sustain.
ALS is going to be extremely important for him up there in the top lane. It's going to be able to give a lot of the poke damage from user person back to him as mana. And he's going to be able to, you know, sustain through this lane a little bit more healthily, as he's going to be able to get ready to make more impact around the map as his TP will come back up.
Neither top laners have TP, but the Rift Herald is available on the map, as both junglers seem to be on the top side. Ancient Mommy ready in the mid lane to make sure nothing happens.
Once again, these bot lanes are just going back and forth, trying to find that little bit of an advantage as Haxel keeps walking forward, looking for these hooks. But Sharon Fang and Sessica are forced to just play so safe. But we see a stun here connect onto Sessica. Sessica forced to flashback, but she's going to get pulled forward anyways. Really good play there by Haxel.
Ultimate curtain call coming out.
Couple shots going wide. The 4th shot goes wide as well, and Sharon Fang and Sessica will be able to survive here. Pretty good attempt, I'd say, but just a couple shots going wide wasn't able to help them secure those kills. But here we go. Ancient Mommy coming in onto Tanamo. Tanamo getting pulled back, but he's able to survive. Good attempt there by Ancient Mommy and I'm Candy, but just wasn't quite enough to lock down Tanamo.
Ham does have the Thrill of the Hunt available, so it's very possible that he may look for a pick in the next minute or so. But seems to just be taking jungle camps away. Pink ward on that top side, and bot lane is still getting pressured. But that is a Soraka lane, so they seem to be able to sustain it.
You know, Ancient Mommy pathing down towards the bot side. We have the next Drake coming up in about 35 seconds here. That's going to be an Ocean Drake, really effective for both teams, as they're going to be able to use that little bit of healing to transition through this early game and towards the mid game, as we're getting pretty close to that point now. We can see Ancient Mommy here looking to make a quick tower dive in the bot lane. He's going to go ahead and connect onto Sesica. Elijah Lu picks up the kill on Sesica, and now Sharon Fang is on the run. Ancient Mommy's going to pick up that kill, and that is a 2-for-0 as Ignite was used by Haxel there.
Now, I think what's important to note was how well that they coordinated that, because Elijah Lu was able to drop the flower there, or drop the lotus. I don't want to actually. What's it called? The captive audience. That's what it's called. I don't know why I was forgetting the name of the ability, but Iron Dragon does take this dragon for free, and the important thing that I was trying to say earlier was just the fact as how they were able to chain CC Sesica long enough so that he wasn't even able to get his ult off there.
He flashing forward onto Tanamo here, looking to get the knockup. He had the knockup and the taunt connecting, but now they're trying to run down Tanamo, but Tanamo has so much movement speed here, able to quickly get away. Ham looking for blood here as he's going to go into I'm Candy, but it might be just a little too far forward. Shockwave's coming through, able to connect onto 2. Going back in and repeatedly, he's going to pick up the kill on the I'm Candy, and Ham is all over the place now looking for some kills, but Lai Xiaolu will shut him down.
I think a little bit too aggressive, knowing that Meowing Cat wasn't there to back him up.
And I think a big thing to note right now is Lai Xiaolu has picked up 3 kills. You know, he's been in on every single kill in this game so far. And with that, he's able to get about a 1,300 gold lead just in his lane alone against Sharon Fang. And that's going to put him, you know, at a pretty strong point right now to help control this bot lane.
And also not opting into boots at the very beginning and just grabbing the extra 20% off the Cloak of Agility means that at current, that Sharon Fang is a lot faster than Lai Xiaolu, which might make a difference in a fight very soon.
So with that, the Drake went over to Iron Dragon, and that's going to put us at a Mountain Soul this game. You know, pretty strong Drake for both teams, but I think it has a little bit more impact over to Iron Dragon, as a lot of them are going to be building resist more than straight health or healing items, except for the Malphite, of course. As we have the Pike, he's going to be looking for some tankier items, as he really can't use that health to the full effectiveness. And then we have I'm Candy as well. So I'm looking to see how this is going to go, but a pretty good lane gank here by Ham as he's looking, but the counter gank coming from I'm Mommy, and Ham is looking to go around. I'm Mommy doing a lot of disruption here in these fights with the Let's Bounce, and now they're going forward. Here comes I'm Candy with the Hero's Entrance. They're going back forward. Lai Xiaolu picks up the first kill onto Sharon Fang, a double kill over to Sesica, and Ham is on the run. But he's looking to come back in. Ball transfer going through, and Tanamo shuts down Lai Xiaolu. But now they're going back forward. Taunt lands onto him, and Haxel's going to pick up the kill onto Tanamo.
Very, very nice play. Tanamo was not able to stop I'm Candy, which is probably why they called off that fight so early, to try to back off of it.
You know, I have to agree. If they could have caught I'm Candy there, it would have been a little bit easier for them to continue this fight out, but with how it was just set up, they knew they had to get out of that fight or it was going to go bad. It was going to go bad in a very quick fashion.
And that was because Ancient Mommy had passive backup. I'm pretty sure if it weren't for that specific fact, they might have actually been able to fight that. Wow, look at the way that Ham is just in there.
Pretty good poke, and he's going to stall out the back for Haxel there. A quick point I want to talk about is Meowing Cat used his teleport to get back to lane, and User Person still has his teleport. So coming up in these next couple of minutes, it's going to be a pretty impactful cooldown to keep our eyes on.
User Person has teleport available, like you said, which means his will be available for the dragon, unlike Meowing Cat. So if he gets caught up here and unable to follow up, they might have to give up the dragon.
and user person just locking down this top lane, able to get, you know, almost a 50 CS lead here in this top lane as he's just trying to, you know, lock down this top lane, keep Meowing Cat up here, and then he's probably going to reset and look for a teleport play towards this dragon in the next couple seconds.
Mid lane going about as we expected. A lot of wave clear on both sides, but the with Tanamo's lead, very much easier to wave clear. They're looking bot lane again.
Curtain call coming out, 2 shots connect on Sharon Fang, the 3rd shot goes through. Really good heal coming out from Sessica there to stop Haxel's damage from the death from below, but Haxel is then able to connect and finish off Sessica. And Sharon Fang trying to finish off Haxel there with the ace in the hole, but it just wasn't enough in that fight. Here comes Ham. H-Ron going to go back in. Really good shockwave connects, and then the Unstoppable Force going to go through, and they're going to pick up the kill on the I'm Candyman. Here comes User Person with the teleport. Going back forward, he's trying to chase down Tanamo. And it's going to be enough. User Person will take down Tanamo.
And that's definitely not what you want to see, is like having the Vlad pick up any more gold than he's already got.
You know, for sure, with User Person already having a really strong lead in the top lane, if he gets any more kills, he's going to come to a point where Kisses for Cats are going to have a pretty big issue on their hands and not going to be able to handle it towards, you know, the mid to late game. Whenever he really gets those items he needs, he's going to be an unstoppable force in this matchup. Third dragon of the game picked up for Iron Dragons, as now they are 2 dragons to 1 against Kisses for Cats. You know, but we see Ham taking his attention to the top lane, going on to User Person now. Pool is forced out. User Person trying to create some space. He has to flash forward as well as Protobelt, and he's going to save his life at the cost of a flash.
Ham using the thrill of the hunt, trying to look for him. Pool is available, so he probably won't get anything out of it.
Pretty good play there by User Person. Maybe a little bit too far extended, but at the same time he's able to survive with just that pool himself. But now going back forward, User Person forced to drop out the ultimate, and now Ham has just gone a little bit too far deep, and H-Ron's going to pick up the kill onto Ham. User Person able to survive in this back line, and that is going to be 4 members of the top lane looking to pick up, and that's going to be the kill over onto Meowing Cat by Haxel.
Pretty sure they weren't expecting the entire Iron Dragon team to be there. Like, there weren't any wars that they had stepped over prior to that. They probably just assumed that they were still there and wanted the Rift Herald as 5.
So we see the Rift Herald started up for Iron Dragons. They're looking to kind of express their lead throughout the map and try to keep pushing forward this pressure they have right now. They have a scaling team, but at the same time, they're pretty far ahead when it comes to scaling right now. You have a Vladimir already picked up a large amount of gold. You have Lai Xiaolu on his gen with 5 kills already. You know, extremely strong in the bot lane. Kisses for Cats are definitely in a dangerous position here now as we transition a little bit further and further into this game.
A lot of pings coming out in the mid lane might be looking to target these 3 champions that Kisses for Cats has here.
We see Meowing Cat here kind of shadowing his team, trying to create a little bit of safe space for him. What do you think Kisses for Cats need to do in these next couple of minutes, as it's pretty important that they play pretty safe, but at the same time, they need to look to make plays and not give up too much on the map?
Kisses for Cats really needs to focus on what Iron Dragons might try to do as far as with the Rift Herald. As long as they can neutralize the Rift Herald safely without losing too much on it, they will be able to recover from that.
Ham here kind of in a dangerous position. He's looking to go on a User Person. Human Play comes down, and Ham's going to try to go back. Sharon Fang with the ace in the hole, not going to connect. And Thrill of the Hunt is out right now as Ham's trying to play safe and see what's going to be out there on the map. He's going to just go for a counter jungle on this blue buff. looking around the map. Now, a lot of members stationed around this mid lane, looking to kind of see what advantages they can play. Ancient Mommy stands to go in, but he decides it's probably not the best decision in this moment. We see I'm Candy here pressuring the top lane a little bit. Hero's entrance still on available, looking around the map, just trying to make sure. Gonna grab a quick reset as we have Dragon coming up in a minute and a half, and Baron spawning now.
Interesting usage of Smite. With that coming up soon. It'll be back up in time.
So if you're Kisses for Cats here, are you going to try to contest this 4th Drake? Are you going to try to slow down Iron Dragon's momentum and not put them in soul point? Or are you going to go ahead and give this one and try to find other objectives on the map?
I think that Kisses for Cats has to fight over each and every one of these dragons because they're mountain dragons right now. Because you do not want what is it, 12%? It's 6%, so it's 18% if they get the next 2. 18% armor and magic resist on a Zac, on a Galio, on a Vlad. Those are not stats you want to see. Like it's bad normally, but it's like twice as bad when you're giving those stats to tanks.
You know, I'd agree. They definitely need to get ready to contest each one of these drags. Curtain Call coming out, looking to see what they can find. Zac goes in. He's not going to connect onto anyone, but that Curtain Call is definitely there to force out a couple picks. And here comes User Person TPing in, Throw the Hunt coming out. Meow and Cat is trying to create some space for his team, making sure that User Person can't go too deep into the back line. And they're just kind of waiting here at a nice little standstill, waiting to see what they find. But Ham's going to go in, trying to chunk out User Person here. Pool's forced out. Unstoppable Force going in, and they're going to look to see what kind of things they can connect here. Ultimate comes out for the Grand Starfall. They're looking around, and now User Person going forward. Haxel ult goes wide, and that is 2 members of Kisses for Cats already down, but they're going to keep going forward. Here comes Ancient Mommy looking to see what he can find. Ham goes in, trying to create some space. And that is going to be 2 kills over to Iron Dragons.
And it comes back to what I said earlier. Like, although Meow and Cat had a very, very nice ultimate onto three members of Iron Dragon, Tenma was not in a position to shockwave off of it. So it allowed several members to survive that. And they continued the fight and were able to win it because of it.
Shockwave goes out, only able to pick up 1, but Lai Xiaolu's going to shut down Ham, and now Tanema's on the run, but Lai Xiaolu's putting out so much damage. Ancient Mommy going forward onto Sessica. Sessica able to get away with just that little bit of healing, and now it looks like Iron Dragon's going to transition over to this Baron.
I mean, Zac can tank Baron for days, especially with the amount of sustain that he's got in his kit. That's percent healing.
So much damage coming out from Lai Xiaolu in these fights, as well as User Person, as they're just locking down Kisses for Cats here in this game 1. And it's going to be a, free Baron for them, as they now have about a 7,000 gold lead. Or 8,000 gold lead. So with this Baron power play active, what are you looking to see from Iron Dragon? Do you think they just need to go ahead and push their advantage, group up, and force their way through their base? Or do you think that they need to play this split as User Person is able to play so safe in those side lanes?
I think that they play together and try to push. Well, no, because then when you think about it, there's way too much wave clear between Tanemo and Sharon Fang to really properly siege, even with the Baron buff. So I think they drop a 1-3-1 and keep their major players here in the mid lane to siege.
And it looks like that's what we're going to see from here. We have Lai Xiaolu and Haxel in the mid lane, with Ancient Mommy coming up to kind of back them up. You have User Person in the bot lane, and I'm Candy in the top lane, splitting up this map. And it looks like Ham's going to try to go on to User Person here, but User Person drops the Hemoplague, trying to see what he can find, pulls away. And just like that, they're able to pull 4 members of Kisses for Cats onto the bot lane, and Lai Xiaolu's going to pick up the turret in the mid. And with all 5 members of Kisses for Cats now in this bot lane jungle, you can see I'm Candy's able to go into this dragon for free. Ancient Mommy kind of caught out here, passive coming out. Let's Bounce going through, trying to see what kind of disruption you can get. Flashes out of the danger zone, but now Unstoppable Force going to go back in onto Ancient Mommy. Ancient Mommy is going to be taken down, passive coming out. Throw the Hunt looking around. Teleport coming in from I'm Candy, trying to create some space for his team. Ancient Mommy taking so low. Taunt comes out, but it's not going to be enough. Sharon Fang's going to shut him down. Shockwave goes out, and he's going to pick up the kill on the Haxel, but Lai Xiaolu's going to shut him down really quick. Curtain Call coming out, looking to see what he can find. Sharon Fang forced to back away. Tanba on the run. And Iron Dragon is so strong and so far ahead at this point that even though Kisses for Cats pulls off these great plays, it's just not enough.
It's like you said, it's not enough at this point. They've fallen very far behind, especially with the Baron empowered Iron Dragon. They are knocking on the gates now of these inhibs.
Kisses for Cats needs to be very careful with these next couple minutes, as we have the Soul coming up in 1:45 minutes. You know, extremely strong Soul for Iron Dragons, and I don't think they can really contest it. I think they're going to have to look for a steal from Ham.
That's one thing that I think that's all they've got going for them, because their team fight right now, especially with the way that they haven't been on the same page. I don't think Kisses for Cats can straight up 5v5 them, like, at all. There's no lead for them anymore to work with.
So looking now, we have Kisses for Cats trying to hang on. They are down about 8,000 gold still. Iron Dragon has already taken 5 turrets to Kisses for Cats 0. We can see Lai Xiaolu is so strong. 7 kills already over to the Jin. You see User Person scaling up, has the Zhonya's completed. You know, Kisses for Cats is in a very dangerous spot right now, but Lai Xiaolu might be caught out here by Ham. Ham's on the run. Hero's Entrance coming back through, and Lai Xiaolu just doing so much damage against Ham as he's trying to get away. And Haxel's going to connect. Shockwave goes out. Matano's on the run. Curtain Call coming out, trying to see what he can find, and they're pulling back Setsuka. Setsuka's on the run, ignited by Haxel. They're looking to go forward. Haxel hasn't quite connected yet, and the root is going to connect onto Setsuka. Setsuka's on the run, but I'm Candy's not letting her go. Lai Xiaolu picks up the kill. User Person in the backline chunked down Tanamo, and he has chunked down Sharon Fang. Sharon Fang taken so low, and it will be killed by Lai Xiaolu. And that is 3 members down for Kisses for Cats, but it's not over yet. I'm Candy flashing over the wall, looking to see what he can find. He's going to take down Tanamo. Meowing Cat trying to teleport out, but it's not going to be enough. And that is going to be a surrender in Game 1 over to Iron Dragons.
Wow, what an explosive finish to that. They turned that, and that last fight was just... It was really well played on the side of Iron Dragon. Like, they pushed them back out of the river, but they also had User Person there waiting in the middle of mid lane to really catch them on the flank there in the middle of their jungle and just decimate them with the really huge Hemoplague there on the 3 members of Kisses for Cats.
A little bit, you know, too Ham in that top part of the jungle, thinking he found out Lai Xiaolu, but Lai Xiaolu was able to put out so much damage with the hero's entrance by I'm Candy. He was able to create a little bit of space for himself. And with that, they were able to pick him off and keep going back forward. User Person had an amazing flank, and there was just so much damage coming out from Iron Dragon in that late fight. You know, what do you think was the pivotal moment? When do you think Iron Dragon really locked down and kind of took over that game for him?
I think they really took over the game. It was way back in the beginning when they had that really big fight that handed 2 kills over to Lai Xiaolu. They tried to make that bot fight happen, and it didn't go the way that they wanted to. And Ancient Mommy was there to counter gank, and it just turned into a terrible fight for them that ended up with 2 kills going to Lai Xiaolu, who transitioned that into what we said before the game, the very volatile and very aggressive and strong bot lane that they would be able to play with it.
I have to agree. I think when Lai Xiaolu got those couple kills early, you know, he was able to use that to transition himself to be at such a strong point compared to Sharon Fang, and he was able to take control of that bot lane. You can just look at the damage charts, and you were able to see how much work he did for his team. Most damage in the game was putting out kills left and right, and I would have to say Lai Xiaolu really took the reins of that game for their team.
Yeah, because it was like even looking at it from the champions perspective, like nothing was gonna happen in top lane. You're talking about Malphite and Vlad, so nothing's happening there. You're looking at mid lane, and mid lane is Galio or Orianna, so that nothing's gonna happen there unless the junglers are involved. So it's like, yeah, you had to get your bot lane ahead, and Iron Dragons did exactly that.
And with that, Iron Dragon secures Game 1 in this 5-game series against Kisses for Cats. We're going to take a quick short break, get into this next lobby, and we'll be right back with you guys. Stay tuned.